Deep in the frozen wilderness of northwestern Siberia, where endless tundra meets ancient forests, there is a hidden world waiting to be discovered. A place where temperatures can drop to extreme levels, and where people have survived for thousands of years by working with nature, not against it. Welcome to Khanty Life in Russia's frozen north, a journey into the incredible world of the Northern Khanty. In this video, we will explore their daily life, how they find food, hunt, fish, raise reindeer, cook traditional meals, and survive in one of the coldest regions on Earth. From the remote lands of Yamal, Russia, to the Yamalo-Nenets autonomous Okrug, this is the true story of life in the north and life in Russia's Arctic wilderness. The Khanty travel across the frozen landscape with their reindeer herds, living in traditional homes called Chum, warm shelters built to protect them from powerful Arctic winds. But their story is not only about survival, it is about culture, family, and traditions passed down through generations. Modern development and resource exploration are transforming their homeland, and younger generations face the challenge of protecting their language and traditions. And the most fascinating part of this journey is still ahead. A rare look inside a lifestyle most people have never seen. So stay with us until the end and discover how the Northern Khanty continue to survive, adapt, and preserve their incredible way of life in the frozen north. Around several dozen reindeer live peacefully around the family camp. But unlike many domesticated animals, these reindeer still live with a sense of freedom. They do not completely depend on humans, and they may not even fully trust their own owners. If the family brought out special feed, the reindeer would likely come much closer, becoming less cautious and more comfortable around them. After another freezing night in the Arctic wilderness, the Khanty begin their morning by removing the layer of frost that has formed outside their chum. This may look like a simple daily task, but in the frozen north, every small action matters. If the frost is left untouched, it slowly becomes thicker and harder, turning into solid ice that takes away valuable living space and can even weaken the structure of their home. Deep in Yamal, Russia, of the Yamalo-Nenets autonomous Okrug, finding fresh water is a daily challenge. During the long Arctic winter, rivers like the vast Ob River system can become covered with layers of ice that are several meters thick. The Khanty carefully break through this frozen surface to reach the river water hidden below, where the current continues to flow beneath the ice. It is incredible to think that underneath this frozen world, the river is still alive. But for remote camps far away from rivers and lakes, there is another way. People collect clean snow, bring it back to the camp, and melt it over the fire to create the water they need for everyday life. In Yamal, Russia, survival is built from patience, ancient knowledge, and a deep respect for nature. In this frozen world of Yamal, where survival is a daily challenge, the Khanty people have mastered ancient fishing techniques that feel almost unbelievable. For thousands of years, they have learned how to read the rivers, understand the seasons, and work together with nature itself. One of their most fascinating methods is using traditional fish traps called mordushka. These clever traps are carefully woven from natural materials and placed in rivers and streams, waiting patiently for fish to swim inside. And the amazing part? The Khanty know exactly where to place them, depending on the water flow, the weather, and the movement of the fish. During the fish migration season, the Khanty build something incredible: fish weirs. Using wooden poles, branches, and flexible willow twigs, they create barriers across rivers and streams. These natural structures guide the water flow and gently direct the fish toward their waiting traps. We need to check the other traps. Normally, the ice here can be more than a meter thick, but because of the strong river current, the ice stays dangerously thin, sometimes only a few centimeters. For the Khanty people, fishing has always been a way of life. Modern fishing may look different today, but the tradition remains the same. Their fathers and ancestors used these methods for generations. They cut long openings in the ice, placed their traps beneath the surface, and let the river do the work. One of their most clever designs is the cone-shaped fish trap. At carefully chosen openings along the fish weirs, they place traps woven from natural materials such as reeds, branches, and thin wooden sticks. As fish follow the moving current, they swim directly into the narrow entrance. But once inside, the trap's unique shape makes escape almost impossible. The passage becomes narrower toward the end, confusing the fish and preventing them from finding their way back out. The Khanty people rarely cut down healthy trees for firewood. Instead, they collect dry branches, fallen trees, and deadwood scattered throughout the vast Taiga forest. These natural resources provide an abundant supply of fuel for heating their traditional tents, known as chums, and their wooden homes during the long Arctic winter. By making use of wood that has already fallen or died naturally, the Khanty are able to stay warm while living in harmony with the forest around them. It is a simple yet sustainable practice, one that has helped generations survive in this harsh environment without disrupting the natural growth of the taiga. Wood is not only used for firewood, it is also essential for building sleds, one of the most important tools for survival in the Arctic. On deep snow-covered terrain, a well-built sled can mean the difference between easy travel and an exhausting journey through the wilderness. To make these sleds, the Khanty carefully select special types of wood from the taiga forest, most commonly cedar and birch. These woods are valued for a remarkable combination of qualities. They are light enough to be pulled efficiently across long distances, yet strong and flexible enough to withstand the harsh Arctic environment. Unlike many nomadic cultures that depended mainly on traditional reindeer hide tents called Chum, the Khanty created something even stronger: wooden log houses hidden deep in the endless taiga. With strong local timber, the Khanty built low-profile log huts that could stand against powerful winds, heavy snow, and the unforgiving Siberian cold. These wooden shelters were not just homes, they were survival machines. Outside, the taiga could be silent, frozen, and dangerous. But inside these warm wooden walls, families could store food, protect their tools, and wait safely for winter to pass. Unlike lightweight tents made from poles and hides, these sturdy cabins trapped heat much better. They became a perfect balance between a nomadic lifestyle and the need for a safe, reliable shelter. The Khanty understood one important truth: survival in the Arctic is not about fighting nature. It is about learning how to live with it. These forest homes became important stopping points during their seasonal journeys. Families would return to these camps again and again, following the rhythm of hunting, fishing, and the changing seasons. And inside every hut, there was one thing that became the true heart of the home: the stove. A metal stove could quickly transform a freezing shelter into a warm refuge. In just minutes, the cold wooden room could become a cozy place filled with heat and life. But there was a challenge. Metal cools down quickly. During the coldest nights, the fire could not simply be left alone. It had to keep burning almost constantly. Inside the traditional Chum, the tent becomes much more than just a shelter. It is the true heart of family life. In the center of the Chum sits a small stove or wood-burning fireplace, bringing warmth to everyone inside. It is where the Khanty boil water for tea, cook their meals, and create a safe place to escape the brutal Siberian cold. Outside, the winter wind may freeze everything in its path, but inside, the gentle heat of the fire keeps the family together. The floor is usually covered with soft pine branches and layers of warm reindeer hides, creating a comfortable space for eating, sleeping, resting, and welcoming guests. Every corner of the Chum has a purpose. It is not only a home, it is a place where traditions are passed from one generation to the next. During long winter evenings, women often gather inside to sew clothing from animal hides, create traditional beadwork, repair essential items, and carefully prepare fur materials for the harsh seasons ahead. Inside the wooden cabin, life looks surprisingly different from the traditional Chum. The space feels much more modern and comfortable, with electric lights, kitchen cabinets, wooden floors, tables, chairs, and even a small area for washing dishes. It is a fascinating combination of two worlds, the ancient traditions of the Khanty people and the conveniences of modern life. Even after adapting to a more settled lifestyle, many Khanty families still maintain a deep connection with the Taiga, their traditional skills, and the environment that has supported them for generations. In some Khanty communities, women usually spend their evenings sewing and creating traditional clothing by hand. This careful work can take many hours. After sewing the main parts together, they may spend almost an entire day removing small pieces, adjusting the details, and adding the final touches. This traditional pattern is called sak. It is everyday clothing, but with a more decorative and festive appearance. However, daily home clothing is usually much simpler and lighter. Because when you are cooking, carrying firewood, taking care of animals, and working around the camp, heavy decorations can make movement much more difficult. Every material has a purpose. Here we have sheepskin, here is fox fur, and underneath, otter fur. Each layer is carefully chosen, not only for beauty, but also for warmth and survival in the harsh Siberian environment. Deep in the taiga forests of Siberia, the Khanty people have learned to collect nature's gifts in the simplest and most effective ways. The berries often come mixed with leaves, small branches, and pieces of moss from the forest. To separate these unwanted materials, the Khanty use a clever traditional method. Outside in the open air, they slowly pour the berries from one container into another while the wind is blowing. The heavier berries fall into the container below, while the lighter pieces, like leaves and small stems, are carried away by the wind. The Khanty move their reindeer herd to new locations regularly, sometimes every day or every few days. This constant movement is not random. It is a survival strategy built over generations. Reindeer mainly feed on lichen and moss found across the forest floor. But if a herd stays in one area for too long, they can quickly consume the vegetation and damage the fragile taiga ecosystem. The ground needs time to recover. By moving the herd from one grazing area to another, the Khanty give nature a chance to regenerate while ensuring their reindeer always have access to fresh food. In the harsh Siberian wilderness, every new location brings a better chance of survival. Fresh plants, new minerals, and the resources the herd needs to continue living. In the Yamal region, thawing an entire block of frozen reindeer meat or a large fish simply isn't practical. It can take hours, sometimes even longer, and the process may damage the texture and quality of the food. So how do the Khanty people solve this challenge? Instead of thawing everything at once, they leave their food naturally frozen outdoors. When it's time to prepare a meal, they grab specialized axes, hand saws, and sharp knives to cut away only the amount they need. Imagine that for a moment. A solid block of frozen meat, harder than wood, being carefully sliced into smaller pieces in the middle of the Arctic wilderness. Some pieces are shaved into incredibly thin slices and eaten while still frozen. As the meat or fish slowly melts in the mouth, it releases its natural flavor little by little, creating a unique culinary experience unlike almost anything found elsewhere in the world. One of the most unique foods in Khanty Siberia is a traditional Arctic delicacy known as Stroganina. At first glance, it may look unusual, but for the Khanty people, this frozen dish has been an important part of life for generations. The process begins with Arctic river fish, such as whitefish, broad whitefish, muksun, or sturgeon. Shortly after being caught, the fish is naturally frozen in the extreme northern temperatures, which can drop below minus 25 degrees Celsius, minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the fish is completely frozen solid, the skin is carefully removed. Using an exceptionally sharp knife, the fish is then shaved into long, paper-thin slices that curl like delicate ribbons. The fish remains frozen the entire time. Traditionally, these frozen ribbons are eaten immediately. Each slice is dipped into makalo, a simple mixture of salt and black pepper that enhances the fish's natural flavor without overpowering it. While many people imagine the Khanty people living only in traditional tents deep in the wilderness, the reality is often much more complex. Many young Khanty families today live in modern wooden homes designed specifically to withstand the brutal Arctic climate of Khanty Siberia and the Yamal region. Inside, the homes are surprisingly comfortable. Families often have electricity, modern appliances, cozy living spaces, and many of the conveniences found elsewhere in Russia. Even in one of the most remote regions on Earth, modern technology has become part of everyday life. For children growing up in life in Yamal, television plays an especially important role. Through TV programs, documentaries, educational broadcasts, and news, young Khanty gain access to knowledge and experiences far beyond the Arctic wilderness that surrounds them. As evening settles over the snowy landscape of Khanty Siberia, a sense of warmth and tranquility fills the settlement. Inside the homes and traditional dwellings, family life unfolds at a slower, more peaceful pace. After a long day of work, the women devote their time to sewing and repairing clothing, carefully stitching garments made from reindeer hide. These handmade pieces are not only beautiful, but also essential for surviving the harsh northern winters. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We always enjoy reading your thoughts and hearing your perspectives. I'd also love to know where you're watching from. Drop a comment below and tell us your country, city, or region. It's always amazing to see viewers joining us from every corner of the world. Thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next adventure.